folks, and welcome to Garbage Theater. We got a little different kind of scenario going on tonight. It's just me and John tonight. Blake is taking a few weeks off, so instead of continuing Shark Month without him, which we can't really do because Lord knows John didn't earn that, we're gonna put Shark Month on hold, and we're just gonna do a little freewheeling discussion, and we decided we're going to talk about Star Wars. Because, what the hell? Enough people think that the new movies are garbage, we might as well talk about them.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we'd talk about something that, really nobody else is talking about. You know what I mean? Everyone on the internet seems to be sort of keeping their opinions to themselves, yeah. And,
not a lot of waves about the new Star Wars movies. It's just kind of just passed by unnoticed.
Yeah. Real quiet.
So,
but on the real, Star Wars is popping off recently.
Yeah.
We got Rise of Skywalker coming out in December. We got Mandalorian going right now.
Currently.
Jedi Fallen Order just came out. It's supposed to be good.
Lots of things going on.
Lots of Star Wars stuff.
We're doing, I believe, at least 2 of these little mini episode kind of things. We're going to do Force Awakens and Last Jedi in this episode. And part 2, we're going to do Solo and Rogue One. But if we need to do a third one, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
But for now, we're going to do the sequels. There's a good chance this is going to be a debacle. Because... I think John and I have a little bit of trouble staying on topic when it comes to Star Wars, and this could go wild. And who knows?
We're going to do our best to keep it on topic.
We were just talking for about a good solid 20 minutes about Star Wars before we even started rolling. Said, what are we doing? So we're gonna attempt to stay on track, but it's going to be what it's going to be.
Yeah. Now, I can't claim any kind of encyclopedic knowledge of Star Wars.
No.
The films I'm pretty solid on.
Yes.
Any expanded stuff, the shows, I don't really know.
Well, the vast majority of the expanded universe is hooey now in
That's
scientific
true.
terms.
That's true.
Tossed aside. So there's the prequels, the originals, the sequels, Clone Wars, the series, Rebels, the series.
What's that other series that they got now? The one about is it Resistance? Star Wars Resistance?
Resistance? Yes. That's yeah, that's one. And Mandalorian. And that's it. Correct? Maybe.
I think so.
There's
novels also that flesh out stuff.
New novels, yeah.
New novels.
Yeah. But everything pre Disney buyout that doesn't count anymore.
There's yeah.
So, let's start off. Okay, we're gonna start with Force Awakens. First of all, just give me just your broad statement about Force Awakens.
I mean, in general, I like it. The movie's it's got a brisk pace. The action is real punchy, with a lot of great shot choices and editing. I think it gets a lot right about achieving the feeling of a genuine Star Wars movie.
Yes.
From the beginning, I was like, oh man, this feels like Star Wars again.
It feels amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. I completely agree. I know it gets a lot of shit for basically being beat for beat A New Hope.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that I don't see that. I'm not blind to that. But I think first and foremost, when they set out to make more Star Wars, was not so much to make a new Star Wars, was to make a shitload of money. And
yes.
I think they succeeded in that endeavor. So
they did. They did. And
JJ did.
And there's the famous Lucas quote about the movie as being like a cycle. You know, like he says they rhyme, so it made a lot of sense for this to essentially be a rehash of A New Hope.
Yes.
From that perspective.
Yes.
From the perspective of an audience member and kind of just seeing the same things again, it's a little bit disappointing, but
yeah. And I mean, and I want to sitting through Force Awakens, I had that same Star Wars high that I had, and I'm not gonna lie. Sitting through Phantom Menace, I was super excited that Star Wars was back.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it was something that I never thought would happen in my life. New Star Wars movies, and I probably went and saw it 2 or 3 times, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever. Yes, they're not my favorite movies ever, but I'm not going to say that, the prequels are just, they were always terrible from the jump. Darth Maul was badass, and that was that.
That's about it.
I mean...
I'm a big prequel hater. I'm a hater. I'm a hater.
I mean, I don't go out of my way to watch them like I do the sequels and the originals, but I went and saw all 3 of them in the theaters.
Oh, totally.
Now, Clone Wars, I'll go ahead and say, did not give me that feeling. I was not a fan of Clone Wars watching it.
No.
Not a fan of Yoda's fighting style.
Ugh.
I had to hold back laughter during that scene.
Nobody wanted to see this.
No.
And again, there's like a famous George Lucas quote where he says like people have been waiting to see this like forever. You know, like since
no one's been
they
waiting to
first
see
saw
that.
Yoda. They're like, damn, I wonder what he would do with a lightsaber. Oh, you mean this little green puppet? What would he do with a lightsaber?
I guess he's gonna sproing around the room like a goddamn cartoon character. What are you gonna do? We're already we're on the prequels.
Yeah, we're already off the rail. But I had a similar experience with Phantom Menace though, where like I was working at a theater at AMC Theaters. It was my first job, and I was probably 16 when Phantom Menace came out, and like the employees got to see a preview showing like before the very first like midnight showings.
Oh damn.
Yeah, so I was jacked up, you know? And then, of course, the movie ends with, like, one of, like, a really great lightsaber fight.
Yeah.
And honestly, that I was, like, floating when I came out of the theater.
Yeah.
Like, just because of that.
Great lightsaber fight. Great score. I loved the Phantom Menace score.
Hell yeah. That's the one thing you'll never be able to take away from the prequels is the...
Yeah. Duel of the Fates? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is an amazing score.
It fucking slaps.
And when they rehashed it, they remixed it or whatever the hell they did for Revenge of the Sith, on board.
Yep.
As goofy as that fight kind of got, with that music behind it, it was fine. Yoda and Palpatine flying around the room, you put that music behind it, I'm good.
Oh, man. But anyway.
Yeah.
It's already, like you said, already going off the
How
rails.
are we're sitting here gushing on the prequels of all things.
Oh, I'm not gushing. Like, I'm saying...
We pointed out the 2 things we like.
Experience and...
Yeah.
And this was also sort of a time before I was watching movies with a more critical eye, you know, before I kind of learned how to watch movies in a more thoughtful way.
Yes.
So it won me over, but on subsequent viewings, you know, it kind of
unlike Phantom Menace and Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith, when I go back and watch Force Awakens, I still like it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not looking at, oh man, yeah, that little kid's a dumbass. I'm not going back and doing things like that where it's like there's large swaths of the movie that I don't appreciate. There's not a whole lot in Force Awakens that I didn't really enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, I've got and they get a little nitpicky, but I took my notes in a likes, dislikes, and neutral category type system.
It's better than what I did going notes. Where we're going, we don't need notes. I'm taking these 2 episodes off for note taking. I just watched the 2 damn movies. So
I just like to be, I don't know. I like to have my thoughts clear, because otherwise I'm going to stammer. And,
yeah. Well, since you've got the spine laid out with your pros and cons, start rattling them off, and we'll go
right.
from there.
Should I start? I start with the likes.
Yeah, start with a light. Do
right.
like a light, and then contrast it with the dislike. The compliment sandwich, like you're interviewing someone for a job.
So I do a like and then a dislike.
Yeah.
All right. So BB-8 is good.
Yes.
That's
Thumbs
one
up
of
for
my
BB-8.
likes. Just generally, he's great. He's got some personality.
Mm-hmm. Bill Hader and who else
Oh shit, I don't know.
worked on giving BB-8 his personality and his way of speaking?
Yeah,
Yeah. Good job.
you did it. But he's like, I don't know, he's funny. Like, I love the part where Finn gives him the thumbs up and he
Yeah.
sticks out the lighter. Like, that's
Yeah,
adorable.
that was great.
That's great.
It was fantastic.
So yeah, just in general, BB-8's great. And of course, like, the effect, the practical BB-8 is
Yes.
pretty amazing. I mean, it's totally seamless, because there's...
Hats off to them going back to just doing as much practical as they can.
Yeah, yeah.
And there are so many things that you looking at them like you can tell that it's practical, but I like that it's practical. That big giant monster that's drinking out of that well when Finn gets there,
Yeah.
that's a practical monster. It's a giant puppet.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, it looks like a giant puppet, but I'm glad that it's actually there.
And,
I appreciate it.
And BB-8's got like a real authentic Star Wars feeling, because he's pulled out of the archives from some original like Ralph McQuarrie artwork.
Yeah.
So that's great. That's great. Let's see. So a lot of my dislikes are sort of contextual, and they are gonna seem kind of nitpicky. But I will say, like, Poe, he is not much of a character in this movie. Like, he doesn't have a personality. He's just like pilot.
Well, he's not in it
Man.
for a big chunk.
No, and I understand it, because he was supposed to die early on in the movie, so I don't think they put a lot of effort into really fleshing him out. But he's just kind of a weak character.
Yeah, he's just the really, really good pilot.
Right, and that's about it. He's a little bit, I guess, a bit witty. He's got that wit. But
Here's a quick question for you.
yeah,
Sequels, too funny?
no, I don't think so.
Because I know you've said before about like the Marvel movies, they were getting a little too, like Ragnarok, a little too funny. Like they're pushing too much comedy. Do you feel that with the new Star Wars?
I don't, and I think like, if you go back and watch the original trilogy, they are funny. There's jokes.
Yeah.
Like, there's jokes all the time. It's they're light, fun movies with lots of jokes, and I think like these movies do it. Maybe there's a bit too many one-liners. I don't know, but it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I think the tone is right.
Good.
Because I think there's a lot of people that, I don't know, for some reason Star Wars fans are so serious about Star Wars, and it's just not a fucking serious series.
I don't know when that started.
Me neither.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't like the prequels either, but they weren't like offensive to my existence. And the sequels certainly aren't.
Oh God, no.
Like I know we're doing Force Awakens first, but I do not understand the seething hatred for Last Jedi.
I also don't get it.
I don't get it.
And yeah, we'll definitely get to that stuff.
So, okay, pro.
The new X-Wing design I really like. I know it's kind of just a subtle change, but...
Yeah, the 2 engines that split instead of the 4.
Yeah, it kicks ass. That's awesome.
That's cool.
There's going to be a lot of things that are just like, I like the design of this thing.
Yeah, that looked really good to me.
Yeah.
In general, I like the redesigns of everything. Like, I like the new Stormtroopers.
Yeah, they're okay. They're a bit smooth for me.
They kind of look like the back end of a newer Kia Soul. But
100%, yeah.
But I mean, they still resemble a Stormtrooper.
Oh yeah.
It's a little sleeker.
So that leads into actually one of my dislikes is the designs of their blasters in Force Awakens. Don't like them. I don't like. They look too small.
The Stormtrooper blasters, like
Yes.
in general.
Yes. Well, they're like regular, whatever, standard blasters. Not the...
Yeah.
They have all kinds of different ones, but the standard ones.
Yeah.
Because, like, the look of them is based directly on the original Stormtrooper weapons.
Yes.
But they added these, like, white parts
Yeah.
that make them look like a toy, and I swear they look smaller. Like, a lot smaller.
They might be smaller, just because, well, making the toys, you want them to look accurate, so...
Yeah, I guess.
It's probably cheaper to make smaller plastic toys. So let's get out in front of the merchandising here while we're doing this movie.
And it could be crazy, like maybe the Stormtroopers are bigger in Force Awakens. I don't know. There's seriously something that's
People were just smaller back in 1977.
They just were.
But weren't the original Stormtrooper blasters, like, they were an actual gun, right?
Yeah,
like
they were modified.
Yeah.
Well, all of them, all of the blasters in the original series were based on real weapons. Or they had real weapons as bases.
Han Solo's blaster's a Mauser pistol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, okay, this perfectly segues into another dislike, which is, like, most of the rest of the new blasters that they made for this movie I don't care for. There's this rifle that Finn has... or the Poe has at the beginning, and then Finn gets it later, and it just doesn't fit to me. Like, it doesn't look like it was based on any real kind of weapon. It looks like a piece of molded plastic.
I have a feeling they did more of that in these, because they can. We can fabricate stuff from scratch, whereas back then they had to just cobble things together, and it gave it a more, authentic look. But I guess they didn't want people to look at this gun and say, oh, yeah, I know what that gun is.
I guess. I don't know.
It's like how Peter Jackson said that about when they were making Lord of the Rings. He said, I don't want anyone to see a thing in this movie and say, I've got one of those sitting on the shelf at home. That's why they made everything for those movies.
Yeah.
So,
But basing, like, sci-fi weapons on real weapons is a thing that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like Blade Runner, his gun is based on a real gun. Like it's all over the place. It's a really common practice. So I don't know why they have this like cheap ass looking rifle. And also this gun has again, I'm being so nitpicky, but like this gun has no real personality. Like no one gives a fuck about this gun. Nobody wants the toy of this gun.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
There's no personality in that gun. Oh man. I think can I take a stab in the dark at what one of your cons is?
Go for it.
Is it gonna be the tri-blade lightsaber?
No.
Okay.
It's not. Originally, when I saw the trailers, I was like, that's dumb. It's still kind of dumb, but they won me over.
It's dumb, but it's really badass at the same time. It's like he's wielding a claymore.
Exactly.
And the way he uses it, especially in Jedi, in Last Jedi when he's fighting all the Praetorian guards. He swings it like it weighs 100 pounds.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
That's what I loved, and we'll get to this. Like, that's what I loved. Every time he fights anybody in this movie with that thing, he's just swinging it with full force.
Yeah.
Just, like, slamming it into him. It's awesome.
Pure anger.
Yeah, it feels great. So that they totally won me over on that.
And I love that when he's in the final fight in the snow, he's punching himself in that blaster wound to fuel how pissed he is to fight harder. And it's just awesome.
Sometimes when I get heartburn, I'll just like hit myself in the chest, kind of makes it feel better for a second. So I totally knew where he was coming from.
Goddamn heartburn.
It's that heartburn. God damn, it's like I got shot with a bowcaster.
And how did Han not know that Chewie's bowcaster was that powerful?
Oh, dude, okay, yeah, this is, I think, where did I put it? Because I did make a note about this. I think I put it in neutral, because I'm not, like, mad about it, but it is hard to believe that that's the first time in, like, the 30 years they've known each other that he ever tried that thing.
Yeah. Or just witnessed what it could do.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he used it all throughout the originals. I think during the originals, it wasn't that powerful. So
no, it wasn't. It wasn't throwing dudes, but yeah.
And in the video games, it shot bouncy shots.
When Battlefront.
In most of them, or at least in Dark Forces.
Oh, okay.
It shot green bouncy shots.
Oh well, no, it wasn't bouncy. It had like a spread shot.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it shot 3 out.
Yeah,
it wasn't bouncy. That was a different gun. That was the bouncy gun.
Yeah. And that's something I want to when we get to talking about the fight between Rey and Kylo. We need to remember how strong they set up the bowcaster to be.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. We're not. This isn't a typical garbage theater. We don't have to go in order.
Fair enough.
If it's on your mind, talk about it.
All right. So, like, one of the big complaints about this movie and Rey in general is the whole like Mary Sue argument and like how did she beat him and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think there's like plenty of good reasons why she could beat him. Including the fact that he got shot with a goddamn bowcaster in his hip.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, okay, so the movie has been seriously, like, sending guys flying with single shots, and he took it full on in his hip.
Shots to the ground, like, next to people.
Yeah.
Sending them flying through the air, like a grenade went off. And yeah, he took it dead on.
Like, I know he's tough, but he's seriously injured. Yeah. Oh, I wrote down this whole thing about their fight. So, their fight, I think, is one of my favorite lightsaber battles of any Star Wars movie. Like, I like the stylization of the ones in the prequels. It's very like martial arts.
They didn't get ridiculous with it, with the flourishes and the fanciness.
In the Force Awakens?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Like the prequels got like really goofy with how much flourishing and twirling and stuff that they did.
It was a bit
just
much.
To show that they could do it.
Right. And there's a point where I appreciate that and a point where I'm like, okay, like settle down. This isn't fighting. This is you guys are dancing.
Yeah. There's that one part in the big fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan and Sith where they're standing in front of each other and they twirl those things around without touching each other for like a solid 4 seconds.
Oh, it's so stupid.
Like,
it's
why?
so stupid. Yeah. Like the best one of the prequels is Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul. Like as soon as that gate comes down and he runs in there and he's super pissed. That fight was so badass. Like the choreography rocked so hard. I felt like my face was blown back. You know,
Yeah.
like it was awesome. But this, I love the stripped down, real, sort of more realistic feel of their fight here. It's awesome. Yeah. And okay, so the majority of the fight, Rey is getting her ass kicked. She's just running away.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not like he's just getting wrecked the whole time. He's
dominating the fight for most of it. Yeah.
And then another thing is that he is not trying to kill her.
Yeah.
He
corners her at one point and he says, you know, you need a teacher. So
yeah, he wants the teacher. He just wants to stop her and teach her and get the lightsaber. He wants the lightsaber because it's Anakin's and he's a fanboy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Rey, I guess, gathers her force power or whatever, and is then able to defeat him. He also he got hit in the arm with his fight against Finn. Like Finn got a hit in.
Yeah, Finn caught him once,
and that was in his saber arm.
And Finn didn't know what the hell he was doing.
Yeah, and that one. This is another. We'll get to the Finn thing, but like, I think Kylo was just screwing around and got hit, and then he got mad and whooped
finished
Finn's
him
ass.
off. Yeah.
So, like, all this stuff makes sense. Everyone's like talking about it, none of it makes sense, but I think it's all pretty clear. Yeah,
she just at the end there, she channeled into that Force Ultra Instinct mode. And it just took over for a second. She got one up on him.
Yeah, and also she knows how to fight.
Yes.
Like they set it up early in the movie. She knows how to fight, and they even to drive it home. So when she's back on Jakku, and she's being attacked by those guys, like in what's his name, Unkar Plutt's place. Mm-hmm. She does a move where. She like blocks high and then kicks the stomach. So she does it there, and then she does it again in this fight.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're trying really hard to even hit you over the head with the fact it's like, look, she knew how to fight. She always knew how to fight.
Yeah.
She had to fight to survive on this, being a scavenger.
Yeah, she fought with that staff, and now it's just translating over to this.
It's not a big leap of logic.
Yeah. And, you know, to dive into Theoryville, she uses a lot of the same moves that Palpatine does.
Oh, really?
She does a lot of thrusting that was like Palpatine's main move if you watch the fights with him in Sith.
Interesting. I do not watch those movies very much.
And that's like, you know, the big theory is that she's a Palpatine.
Right.
So there
I
you go.
remember Palpatine doing what's that M. Bison move? Where he like spins through the air.
It wasn't. Yeah. People have been waiting forever to see how the Emperor fights with a lightsaber.
Oh, they've been waiting. They've been waiting so long.
What's more, they've been waiting forever to see goofy ass Emperor fight against goofy ass Yoda fight.
Oh, God, it's maddening, dude. And then Yoda has like a tiny little like lightsaber. Do all Jedi have to have lightsabers? Is that necessary? It seems
it's like the lizard and warrior and the sorceress.
Oh man, I gotta go back and get a screenshot of that. So funny.
God.
But yeah, like, why couldn't Yoda just be a super good Force user? Why does he have to? Why do they all have to fight with a lightsaber?
No,
just don't.
Again, breaking protocol of structure, but the whole Leia thing in Last Jedi, that's exactly how I envision Leia to be as a Jedi. Not a lightsaber swinging warrior.
No.
She's just super strong in the Force. That's from before the prequels even happened, when it was all just like comic books and shit. That's how I always thought she was gonna be. She was never gonna pick up a lightsaber.
Yeah.
She was gonna be like the 100. She put all of her perk points into Force. So that's how I always saw her turning out. So I was on board with that whole thing. I don't know. Fucking nerds. I swear to God.
Oh, dude, they get so mad. But yeah, that scene is fine. You know, like the worst criticism I'll accept of that scene is that it looks a little bit silly. You know?
Yeah.
I guess. But like the fact that it happens, nah, it's fine.
Yeah. The biggest criminal thing about that.
Then she's like out of commish for a while. Like it almost kills her.
Yes.
So, like, shut up.
Yeah.
It's fine.
If Star-Lord can go floating around in space without a helmet on and be fine, then so can Leia.
Yeah. I mean, you can float around in space for a few seconds. Like, you just can. If you, like, exhale all the oxygen out of your lungs, you can float around in space for a little bit.
They did it in Event Horizon.
In Event Horizon, they did it. So, miss me with
Morpheus
that
just
nonsense.
floats right across in space.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that movie was 100% scientifically accurate.
Perfectly accurate. In fact, they proved hell exists in that movie.
Oh my God.
All right.
Yeah. That was fine. I was going to say, the biggest crime of that scene was Admiral Akbar getting off in the background. But I might have to play my own goddamn rant music for that later.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. Go for it.
Get
your rant on.
Admiral Akbar, okay, yes, he's one of my favorite Star Wars characters. Why? I don't know, but he is.
Shut up, I don't know.
Shut up, I don't need to explain it. He's awesome. And he was second in command behind Leia, and he gets off in the goddamn background. And to this day, I will argue, and I don't care if it's a goofy idea, it would have made it the best movie ever made. And all you nerds can shut the hell up. All respect to Laura Dern, she shouldn't have been there. It should have been Admiral Akbar in that role. Admiral Akbar stays behind. They all fly away to get away, and he's got to sacrifice himself. So he goes to flip the switch to do the hyperdrive. It cuts to the big Imperial ship with that dude, and he starts to say it's a trap. And then you cut back to Admiral Akbar, and he gives a smirk, and he flips the switch, and the fucking thing happens. That's how you end that goddamn movie.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with anything you said.
I would have stood up and cheered. I'd have been the only one in the theater doing it, and I'd have been proud to do it.
I mean, that would have been some fan service right there.
To specifically me.
Yeah.
Admiral Akbar fan number one.
And then there's exactly one frame of Rian Johnson winking and giving you a thumbs up. It says, "This is for Chase."
He just Tyler Durden himself in there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really have a good theory as to why he felt it was necessary to write in Holdo. I don't know.
I think a big part is that the voice actor for Akbar died.
Oh, that sucks. Well,
So
yeah.
I don't think he was around for the set for Jedi, for Last Jedi.
But
He was there. He was in Force Awakens. But,
Right.
yeah.
Did it really feel like it would be like that disrespectful to get somebody else to do it? I don't know.
I mean, they completely wiped the records clean of the dude that was Boba Fett. Like, he just doesn't even exist anymore, that dude. That poor bastard. Not only are we going to take your character away and give it to this other guy is going to be, 8,000 characters. He's going to be the majority of the cast of the 2 second prequels. So, where the hell were we?
Oh yeah,
Before I started going off on Admiral Akbar.
Let's see. What else do I have? Let me rattle off a few real quick.
Yeah.
I like that Kylo was actually pretty scary early on. Mm-hmm. Like when he first comes on the scene and stops that blaster shot in midair.
Yeah.
You know, everybody was like, "Oh shit! Like what? What is this?"
Yeah.
I dig on that. There's a scene. Abrams, as a director, just like doesn't seem to let things breathe very much. Like, I know he said that pace is really important to him, and he'll like sacrifice other things, like stuff making complete sense just for pace. So he doesn't really let things breathe, but there's like one shot where Rey is like cleaning some junk that she scavenged, and she like looks up and there's like an old woman doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. And like that was just like a nice thing, you know. It's real short, but it's like
is this where I'm going to be?
Exactly.
Is this what I'm destined to be?
And it helps give her character some motivation to like leave a little bit. Even she keeps talking about like she needs to wait for her family, but you know, how long?
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, the dogfight between the Falcon and the TIE fighters on Jakku.
In the opening, the beginning, yeah.
It's great. It's like one of the best like dogfights in the entire series of movies.
The introduction of the Falcon, I got goosebumps.
Yeah, it's great.
And then that whole it just took off from there. It was fantastic. What's the problem with these people?
I don't really know. It's just a fun movie, man.
You should be on your knees grateful that they're even doing any more after the prequels.
Oh. I mean, there's a vocal like group of Star Wars nerds that really genuinely like the prequels.
Oh yeah.
It's like they're trying to fix their reputation or something.
Yeah. I read a comment where they said that the prequels had a better story but not executed properly, and the sequels have a worse story but it's being executed better.
I buy it. I buy that actually.
Yeah.
I do buy that because I do like the idea of the events that happen.
If you take the broad strokes of the prequels and not get down into the details, you know, don't get down into, you know, this is pod racing, I hate sand. You don't get down into the meme area of it. On paper, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I like Anakin's sort of. I like his arc, I guess. Yeah. It's fine, but how it happens is trash.
And again, fuck it. We're just gonna be all over the place.
Yeah.
So, Rise of Skywalker. For you to actually really say that this is a Skywalker saga, wouldn't Rey have to turn out to be a Skywalker?
I mean, unless it's referring to Ben.
But Ben's not a Skywalker. He's a Solo.
I mean, Leia's his mom.
Well,
she's a Skywalker.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. But he's the only. I mean, that's it. He's the last one, unless
which means
somehow she is too. But that'd be weird.
Which is kind of setting up that he's definitely going to be good. I mean, they're leaning into that kind of anyway.
It does seem like it.
And I do agree with you that shot of her with the butterfly knife lightsaber, that's a red herring.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's not in the movie at all. I don't think so. I honestly don't.
Goddamn J.J. Abrams.
Putting in his
nonsense.
Trying to get us all sidetracked talking about Dark Rey. I don't know.
That's not going to happen.
I hope not. And if it does, it's got to be like some kind of vision or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, And if we're gonna start doing that, we're gonna start calling bullshit on things. Are all those lines that Palpatine says in the trailer even real? Is he even in it?
I hope not. Honestly, I hope not. I just can't see a way to put him in this movie that makes any kind of goddamn sense.
I mean, you have to say if the Jedis can find a way back, that the Sith could too. He's just gonna be red glowy instead of blue glowy.
Yeah. If he's a Force ghost, I'm okay with that, I guess.
Yeah. Or we go down the clone avenue. What if Snoke was just a failed clone of him? They didn't get it right yet. That's why he's all goopy.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I feel like that would come out of nowhere. Because this movie really, these two movies haven't mentioned clones but like one time.
Yeah. Which means they're still doing it.
That's true. That's true.
Because he says that in Force Awakens, where Hux is talking to Kylo, and he says maybe the Emperor, maybe Snoke would do better with a clone army than you lot.
Yeah.
So clearly, clone business is still booming.
Cousin. Yeah.
So
I don't know. I just like the clones. I just don't, as a concept, especially when it's like big twists. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's a fucking clone! Like that sucks. That sucks. Like every time it sucks.
But it's such a huge part of the lore.
Yeah, that's true. But it's never been used as a. It's never been used as like a twist or anything. It's just like, yeah, there's clones.
Yeah,
there's a bunch
clones
of
happen.
There's a bunch of clones that we basically treat like slaves, and it's very morally. It's problematic.
Yeah. Because if I remember correctly, the original sequel trilogy that Lucas fleshed out was going to end with the children of Luke and whatever her name was, I can't remember.
Yeah.
And Han and Leia both becoming Jedis and then having to fight clones of Luke and Vader.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. Scouring the internet back in those days of looking that shit up.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was I want to say their names were Ben Skywalker and Anakin Solo was the kids' names.
That sounds right.
They became Jedis, and then the Imperial Remnant cloned Luke and Vader to try to do something. Which, how the hell are they going to do that?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Is that how much we got left on Force Awakens before we shift?
Here, let me take a look at my. Let me take a look here.
Just keep rattling them off, and if you strike a nerve, I'll tack it.
Okay. I probably have a lot of things that we could go down rabbit holes on. So let's see, Maz's bar. I really liked that. I like the set. I like the music. I like all the aliens milling around.
Again, all practical.
All practical, and it really they captured the cantina thing again. Like they did it again,
which is a big no-no.
And they pulled it off.
Shouldn't do that. Don't do that. No. Don't do another cantina thing. Oh, and also, don't do the flip where you show us the ritzy thing. No one wants to see that either. Goddamn nerds. Actually showed us something new.
Yeah.
The ritzy high-end side of it, instead of just another dive bar. We get to see what the 1% of the Star Wars universe looks like. And Denver's got to throw a fucking fit about that too.
I mean, I know why I understand why they're mad about Canto Bight, and it's not just because, it's the 1%, it's the rich guys. I mean, I have a few problems with that segment of the film, but we'll get to that.
I feel like we have more to say on Last Jedi than we're in pretty much agreement. Force Awakens was fine.
Yeah, let me go through my dislikes real quick and see. Again, it's pretty nitpicky. Poe says we've got company like at least twice, and I'm kind of tired of that line being in movies. Like, we've got company. Ugh, come on, still.
Well, I mean, Star Wars has a thing for repeat. I mean, they say it's not my fault like 14 times.
Yeah, and I've got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah,
and that's I get it. The Wilhelm scream also is in it, and I'm
that had
super
to be
tired.
In it.
I know, but I'm sick of it. It's not funny.
That
It's not like it's not cool. It's not funny. It's just like stupid and pulls me out of the movie every time.
I saw a thing. I want to say today. I saw it on Reddit that apparently the Wilhelm scream it's in there because it's a joke between sound editors.
Yeah, but how is it a joke? It's not. It's not a joke. It's like, oh, there it is. That's not a joke.
It's like a running joke between, like, just like, let me see if I can slip one in, and like, I got it in there.
There's no director on the planet who would just like not recognize it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, if I was the director, I'd be like, get that shit out of there. Stop it. Stop it right now. Okay, so let's get to the big ones here.
Okay.
The Rathtar scene. Hate it. Hate it.
Yeah, I just don't like what they look like.
They're like rolling around.
They look like Pokemon more than aliens.
And I think I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed more because I know that J.J. Abrams put it in to keep the pace going, to keep like the action rolling.
Yeah.
And it's just a pointless, like, big CG. And that's the thing, too. It really sticks out because there's so much practical stuff in it. And then this is a big, CG thing that's not particularly impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it.
I would have rather them use an established Star Wars creature.
Sure.
Even if it was one that wasn't necessarily, like, it didn't have to be like Wampas or anything, but something that could have been a little more practical, a little more not so ridiculously sized for those cramped hallways.
Yeah. I was just about to say like a Rancor, like trying to squeeze down the corridors.
It could be baby Rancors.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't care for that part. And then there's like stuff. I mean, we talked about how it's just a rehash, but there are parts where they make it so obvious that it's a rehash that it's kind of off-putting. Like, there's the part where they're talking about Starkiller Base, and they're like, oh, you wish it was another Death Star. Like, check, it's fucking huge.
This is like mega Death Star.
It's just really, really laid bare the silliness. It was like, oh man, this thing is like 10 times the size of the Death Star. It's just like, come on. And then
it does the same thing as the Death Star.
No, it blows up like 5 planets at once because it's so big. It's just, I'm not mad about this, but it's dumb.
Yeah,
it's dumb.
I think it was just more like somebody thought of a cool visual of like a planet split in half with a big gun in it.
Sure.
And say, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. I'm pretty prepared for my suspension of my disbelief to be suspended, but like when a single laser at I don't know a predetermined point breaks into 5 lasers and blows up 5 separate planets, I was like, how does that work? How do you split a laser? Again, I'm nitpicking, but I just don't understand how that shit works.
Yeah. I can't defend that one. That's weird.
Anyway.
Got to move it along.
Gotta move it along.
We got to blow up those New Republic planets.
Let's see, my other gripe.
So that was Coruscant, right? Coruscant got blown up.
I think so.
That was they do that shot of that major city.
Because that's where the Republic is.
Yes.
They said they're blowing up the Republic.
Yeah.
So one thing that kind of bothers me is that how much they have Finn using the lightsaber.
Well, I mean, that was the point, was to make you think that it was going to be him.
Was it? I mean, I guess.
In all the promo stuff, they only showed him with it. They never showed her with it.
Right. So, I mean, but did they think like that far ahead? It was like, ooh, in the marketing, they'll think it's Finn, but it'll really be Rey. Like, I don't know.
I actually think so.
Really?
I think they thought that far ahead, and they were thinking that we need to pin this on Finn being the next Jedi so that we can do the reveal of Daisy Ridley getting it.
Okay. Maybe. To me, it reads like some executive was like, movie needs more lightsabers. And then they just like, what if Finn fights a random stormtrooper with it in a pointless like action scene? And they're like, yeah, do it. I don't know. Because I don't know. He has it. He says he's good with blasters. He's not good with a lightsaber. And then this stupid stormtrooper shows up, and instead of just shooting him, throws all of his stuff away, decides to fight him with a tonfa instead.
Well, he's going at it the honorable way.
Why?
You know how it is. You need to settle something. You go to Final Destination. You turn all items off. That's how it works.
Wait, is this a Smash Brothers thing?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the level that's just flat?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I got your metaphor.
That's when shit gets serious.
Yeah. Oh man. So that part just seems silly to me. But what else do we got here? And this one to me is kind of a major one. So the majority of the movie is them trying to find this map to Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
Who fucking made this map? Because then, and it's compounded further by what we learn about Luke in The Last Jedi, but, he doesn't want to be found.
Yeah. It's
like, did someone find him and then, fail to convince him to come back or something, and was like, fine, motherfucker, but I'm making a map to you.
I'll show you. Oh, everybody know where you are.
I just don't know where this map
You get solicitors up the ass.
I care more about where this map came from than, where Snoke came from.
I mean, is it so much a map to Luke Skywalker as it is a map to the first Jedi Temple?
I mean, that's a good question.
They have Han says they have a vague idea that they think that's where he went.
Right.
But nobody knows where that is. So is this just an ancient map to the first Jedi Temple that they found in some records somewhere?
I don't know. If they had said, we think that he might be at the Jedi Temple and we need the map to it to see if he's there or something. But they constantly refer to it as a map to Luke Skywalker.
But, and also, do you really need a dotted line map for space?
Yeah. I mean, unless it's a complete... I don't know. They said...
They said that the piece that they have is uncharted. But even then, so that whole thing is useless.
Right.
It was Uncharted, where you don't know where the hell that is.
It's somewhere in space. Yeah, I got questions about this map, man. But you know, all this said, the movie is a fun movie. It's very entertaining.
Oh yeah.
You know, shut up.
That's going to be the gist of this Star Wars special. Just shut up.
Essentially.
Just watch it and be happy it even exists.
Yeah.
So let's put a pin in Force Awakens.
Yeah, I think that's about all I've got.
Unless we need to go back to it multiple times.
We'll see.
So, moving on to Last Jedi. Shut up.
Ah, shut up.
There's a lot that I like about it, and I don't care if I get my Star Wars card taken away for saying that. Fuck you. I don't need your goddamn acknowledgement. I liked it. The end.
Yeah, I also liked it, and I put a lot of thought into it because I was kind of forced to. Like I saw it before the online reaction happened, and I'd seen like a largely positive critic response, and once I saw it and then saw the online response, I didn't understand. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like some people have decent points, but I think that there's a lot of stuff that people are just totally off base on.
Yeah.
That like if they rewatched the movie, like things would get clear.
I have no issues with Luke Skywalker's arc.
Me neither. It's great. In fact, I think it's great.
I love that he's this dejected, just, I fail. I was supposed to be the greatest Jedi ever, and I fucked it all up. And now I'm just this depressed old hermit. I love that.
Yeah, and he's still himself, too. This is like a thing that I don't understand. So he shows up in Return of the Jedi at Jabba's palace, and he's acting like, a Jedi. He's all like smooth and making these like threats in a real calm voice, how Jedi do. And then but then later in the movie, he's still got all this anger that like the Emperor is talking about. He's like, I feel it. I feel your rage. I feel your anger. Like that stuff doesn't just go away. You know what I mean? Like your personality, who you are, doesn't change. I mean, like being a Jedi, I'm sure for however long it's gonna help him manage certain aspects of his personality, but like he's still him.
Yeah. And he also has the pressure of rebuilding the entire Jedi society.
Yeah.
Just him. He's it. He's all that's left. And he has to put it all back together. And as soon as he does, it gets fucked up. So, yeah, he's not happy about it.
Yeah, that's disappointing. And and another thing they show okay, so I'm going to say that I think Rian Johnson understands Star Wars better than most of the people that are mad about The Last Jedi. Mm-hmm. I think he gets it. And yeah, so if you watch the original trilogy again, you'll see that Luke has a problem with giving up. He gives up all the time. Yeah. And then it always takes someone to tell him to like not give up. Mm-hmm. Like when he's on the Falcon with Obi-Wan trying to like block the lasers out of the little ball or whatever.
Yeah.
He gives up like immediately, and Obi-Wan's like, "Shut up, keep at it." And then on Dagobah, he tries to like lift the X-wing or a rock or whatever, and he can't do it, and he gives up like immediately. And
yeah.
He's like, "Shut up,
watch
check this out."
We need to do a Star Wars where we rewrite all the dialogue because it would be hilarious.
It's mostly
shut
just
up.
like, Luke,
just shut up. Watch this. Shoot the goddamn hole, Luke. But yeah, exactly. He needs to be pushed forward by someone, and left all on his lonesome, he's gonna sit on his ass.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing is, because I don't think Rian Johnson deserves, like, 100% of the blame for, like, having to write a reason for Luke being on this island. Because, like, Abrams and Kasdan wrote him on this island somewhere.
Yeah.
And you have to come up with a reason for him to be there. And, like, it can't just be cowardice, because that would be way worse than what Rian Johnson did.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, I want to hear what's everybody else's good reason why Luke would be hiding on an island somewhere. Because the reason he gives makes tons of sense to me.
Yeah. You write a better Star Wars, asshole. I guarantee you it would be laughable.
It would suck.
It would be that that goddamn rant that Patton Oswalt did on Parks and Rec. Fucking nerds. What the hell I got mad and I forgot what I was gonna goddamn say.
Yeah. Well, we talked about Luke's arc, and it's great.
Yes.
And Luke's great.
Okay, I remember. Do you think now that Abrams is back in the helm that Skywalker is gonna suffer from him trying to put back the pieces that he set up that got kind of pushed to the side?
Like, I don't know. And it's definitely something I worry about, because first of all, that throws Rian Johnson under the bus, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Because like, he's a good craftsman. He's a good director. He's like, I could talk about this for for a long time about, like, how he made this. The part of the problem is that they didn't have a plan for all three.
Exactly.
Like, starting out. So blame that on whoever you will. But Rian Johnson came in and made a movie, a start to finish movie. You know, like, he didn't want to make just the second act of a 3-act thing.
Yeah.
He wanted to make a whole movie. So that's what he did. But yeah, that would be bad, I think, if Abrams just comes in and starts trying to
because you said something about how all of a sudden we're getting all this Emperor shit, and that's kind of because Snoke's not around anymore.
I think it's possible. I don't think they would ever have just brought the Emperor back as part of the logical order of, like, the storytelling. Like, I don't know.
If they hadn't off Snoke, there'd be no reason for the Emperor to come back.
Right, they'd have a heavy, they'd have a big bad. But you know, all the speculating about Rise is kind of pointless. But
yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree there should have been a fucking plan.
There should have been a plan.
How do you set off on, we're going to definitely do a new trilogy of Star Wars movies? All three are going to be done by a different group of people, and we're not going to have them talk to each other at all.
They did talk to each other.
They talked to each other by going to JJ and said, "Hey, we want you to do the new Star Wars trilogy." He said, "I'll do the first one." And he did the first one, and then Johnson came in and said, "We're not going to do this stuff. We're going to do this." And now they're like, "Well," and then the nerds went in their fucking tirade, and they're like, "Well, we can't have Johnson do the next one, so let's get Abrams back in." And he's like, "Oh, what happened?"
All my stuff.
So he's got a, I don't know. I don't want to, I mean, because I do like them, I don't want to say that, this whole thing was a blown opportunity, but I'm sure it could have been stronger.
Oh, for sure. Like, things could have been a lot more cohesive.
Yeah.
But also, like, I think some of the stuff that people are mad about that Abrams set up, like, is boring. Like, because there's a big part of The Last Jedi where it's about how the Force belongs to everybody. and not just the Jedi. And if they go back on that and make Rey like some important, descendant of somebody else, that kind of fucks that whole, thread up. And I like that. I like the idea that she's nobody.
Yeah.
And people keep talking about how like maybe she's, maybe Kylo's lying to her or something, but she comes to that conclusion on her own. She says they were nobodies. Then their whole like force connection was facilitated by Snoke, so maybe he like put something in there in her memory. I don't know. Who knows? But I still think it's a problem if they make her, the daughter of somebody important. It's, I don't know.
Even if it's Palpatine?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, why does it matter? Why does the bloodline matter? Is it because of the midichlorians? Are we still talking about midichlorians?
I hope not.
I really hope not.
I can hear Blake screaming at us right now.
Oh yeah,
because he's got this whole thing about how the force ain't racist. It can belong to anybody. It's been fueled by the Mandalorian, but we're not going into Mandalorian tonight. So we're getting on this talk about bloodlines and the Force, and I know he's got things to say about it.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know. I like the idea that the Force belongs to everybody. It's like I think Luke is right in The Last Jedi that it belongs to everybody, and that
that random kid sweeping up on Kanto.
Yeah.
Anybody can have it. Anybody can have it.
Okay. So we like just fell right into The Last Jedi without any kind of like.
Like I said, this is a rickety ship we're on right now, folks.
Yeah. So, all right, we've talked a bit about what we like. Can you hit me with some stuff that you dislike about The Last Jedi?
About Last Jedi?
Yeah.
It seems like people give the Force Awakens a bunch of shit for it mirroring A New Hope, but they don't. I don't hear a lot of people giving Force Awakens shit for mirroring the other two movies, which it does.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, there's a lot of beats that are right on par with Empire and Jedi. Mm-hmm. There's scenes that are like they're shot exactly. The whole thing in Snoke's chambers, that's the Emperor's chambers at the end of Jedi.
Yep.
With Rey looking out at the ships being blown up, it's exactly the same. I haven't heard people complaining about this one. They're too butthurt about fucking Luke.
Well, and this is something that I think like Red Letter Media might be responsible for, because they hated it and made a big like video about it, and we're talking about how the movie subverts your expectations to the point where it's like just doing that doesn't make a compelling drama or whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, when you look back on it, it's obvious. Like it's not a subversion of expectations that Kylo kills Snoke. Like that shit, that's what happens because like Darth Vader kills the Emperor. Like I mean, it's not really that subversive, except that it happens maybe out of order.
Yeah, it's all like the Hoth battles at the very end,
right?
Instead of the jump. So yeah, but it's all there. I mean, that's the main thing that I was rewatching it today. Mm-hmm. That's the main thing I was pulling off. Like I was counting how many scenes had the same issues that Force Awakens had, but I don't hear that complaint. My main complaints about Jedi are about the complaints about Last
Jedi. Yeah, and they forced me to to think that way about the movie. And like when I was watching it again today, I was trying to be a little bit more objective and not just like really defensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's not a ton that I really dislike about it. Again, like some of the stuff's kind of nitpicky, but I had a hard time getting past the use of these like slow ass bombers in the beginning. Like it wouldn't be a problem for me, even though it might not be the most logical thing, but it wouldn't be a problem for me if this was like a totally original movie, had nothing to do with Star Wars, and they had these like slow ass bombers. But the fact that the Y-wings already exist and would be like a much better, aircraft for this particular job, like that kind of bothers me.
Yeah, it's almost like those were designed to be like in atmosphere bombers.
Yeah.
And not in space. And okay, here's a question: is there a minimum distance for a hyperspace jump?
What do you mean?
Can you jump 200 yards ahead? Because if you can, there's no need for these slow ass things. I mean, yeah, you have to program in the trajectory so that you don't bounce too close to a supernova or something. But I mean, you can see. Like, why can't I just warp, 500 yards ahead and be over the thing?
Maybe
the slow burn of this. Is he gonna make it?
I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and give him the benefit of the doubt and say that the bombers don't have hyperdrives.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yeah. They're too slow to have hyperdrive.
I get like everything. The X-wing, which is smaller, has a hyperdrive. I don't know why bombers wouldn't. But yeah, I mean, whatever.
The Y-wings had hyperdrives.
Yeah, they do. I don't get why they didn't use Y-wings. But anyway,
it's more suspenseful.
Let's see. I want to know how Maz knows exactly where the code breaker is and what flower he has on his lapel at any given second. Because she's like...
It's just, I guess he always wears that thing.
And always...
And he's always at the tables. Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems weird that she could be doing something completely different. She's in the middle of a battle, and she's like, yeah, this motherfucker's like at a table with a lapel, with a flower on its lapel. Yeah. How do you know this?
Here's some... I didn't care for Benicio del Toro's character.
Yeah, his choice to add the stutter
I was not a fan of that.
It's questionable. The character, I don't mind, but the stutter is like, what? What are you doing here?
He wasn't anything like I thought his character was going to be. When I saw the promos for him, where it was just that shot of him in the Star Wars gear, in that alley. I thought he was going to be more of a, I don't know, a swarthy kind of underboss of something, and not this stuttering, half comedic relief person.
Yeah. I'm wondering if maybe the stutter wasn't... Because you don't ever trust him. You know what I mean? There's no point where you trust him. So,
and he sets off from the jump that you shouldn't trust him, because he says that ship that they steal is his, and then he starts ransacking it, and this isn't your ship.
Right.
So he's deceitful right off the bat.
And the reason I mentioned that is because I thought maybe the stutter was a choice that he made to maybe make the characters, seem like he's not, he's less capable of evil. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't know why the stutter would do that, but that's just a thought that I had. So maybe they were trying to throw you off with the stutter, but...
He took a note from Usual Suspects. He said, I got to add an impairment to make me more trustworthy.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, this motherfucker's got a limp. Ain't no way he's Kaiser Soze.
But yeah, okay. You said, okay, go back to you had complaints about Canto Bight in general. Because I like that they did the flip. We always see the seedy underbelly in Star Wars. We never see the glitz.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm fine with, like, I like the look of Canto Bight. I like all the crazy costumes and aliens and shit. I like all that stuff. My problem with it was the farther chase scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because for most of the same reasons that I had a problem with Rathtar scene in The Force Awakens. It just seemed kind of unnecessary. And then Rose... Rose, at the end of it, okay, so Finn is like, it was worth it, even though we fucking failed, and, the entire fleet's gonna get destroyed now. It was worth it because we saved this, like, animal. I don't know. Probably not worth it. Like, that was just a weird thing to me. I didn't understand why setting that thing free made all of this worth it. I don't know.
Yeah. They righted one very small wrong on that entire planet.
Yeah.
Those kids are still slaves, mind you.
They're still slaves. They like maybe messed up a guy's car, but he's rich, so it's not gonna really
we freed these big hamster horses, but they're still human and, humanoid children in slavery back there.
They're also probably going to be promptly recaptured.
The whole place is surrounded by cliffs. Not a whole lot of places they can go.
Watching it again, I did think it was funny how they got caught. Because they, like, parked their car in the wrong place and some busybody was, like, called the police, which felt... just felt real. I don't know.
Yeah.
What was that lady that was calling the cops on those guys having a barbecue or whatever?
Oh, shit, yeah.
It's like an alien version of her. Which is funny. I mean, like, I don't know if that was the intended, point of that thing, but like, they're the 1%. They don't want these like outsiders.
I said they couldn't park there, but they did it anyway. Again, my list of dislikes are short. I'm gonna go on to likes.
Okay.
The fucking Snoke's Chambers fight scene.
Okay. Now this we might have a little bit of a disagreement on.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
You didn't like this?
Well, go for it. Like, hit me with detail it.
Okay, I'm gonna do what you've been doing. I really liked it. It looked really cool.
Cool. Visually, it's awesome. I will give you this. I love the design of the Praetorian Guards. I love the, like, red chamber, and then when it catches on fire, it's, like, even more dramatic. All that stuff's great. There's even some beats in the fight that I really like, but this was something that was pointed out to me, a while after I'd seen the movie, and, like, if you... And it's kind of not fair, but, like, if you slow down the fight and watch the background actors, you can tell that they're just, like, waiting for their turn. It's kind of sloppy, and it could have been executed a lot better as a fight scene.
So it suffers from every kung fu movie in existence syndrome.
Essentially. The problem is that you can really see it.
Okay.
The best kung fu movies are able to hide it. They, like, shoot it in a way where, like, a guy gets kicked out of frame, And
if one guy's fighting 20 guys, there's going to be 18 guys standing around.
Yeah. And then, but there's parts where you can just see them standing there or, like, preparing to go in for, like, their turn. And now it's distracting to me. There's even a part where one of their knives disappears. Yeah, it's like one of them is like attacking Rey, and he should be able to kill her super easily because he's got one hand free with a knife in it, but then like the knife just vanishes. It's weird. But anyway,
a continuity issue, or just
I don't know. I don't know if it's a continuity thing.
maybe there was a shot where they lost it and they just didn't include that shot, or
It's hard to say.
yeah.
But but there are beats in it that are awesome. I mean, like when Rey throws Kylo's lightsaber with the lightsaber and he blasts the dude in the face. There's stuff that's awesome in it, but
And again, just Kylo's fighting style
yeah,
in it is great.
it rules. Just wrecking fools.
So I don't know. I was looking at the action and not the background.
Well, I mean, at this point, I've seen it, so many times that I started noticing some of the imperfections, I guess. But
And okay, on something else that bugs me about it, and this is something that I think you had a differing opinion on. The resistance, communication.
oh yeah,
Up your communication a little bit, and these blunders wouldn't happen.
yeah. So yeah, we'll run this down. So yeah, a big complaint from people is that like if Holdo had just told Poe her plan, like a bunch of stuff wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And
The whole Canto Bight thing wouldn't have happened. They never would have sent Finn out to go do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
but to a degree, you have to take the side of the bureaucracy. Like there's an order of the, she's in charge, and he is taking things upon himself.
Yeah.
That he's, and it's part. So,
I mean, to be on your side for a second, he's actually in a lower position than he was.
Right, he got
Because
demoted.
Leia demotes him immediately in the beginning of the movie.
Right. So, and also, and this is something I'm just kind of inferring, and it's a loose lips sink ships scenario, because she doesn't tell the plan, and then as soon as she does tell him the plan, or he figures it out, he tells Finn and Rose, and then it gets overheard by DJ, who then turns them into the Empire. So, like, she was, at least in the context of the movie, she was right not to tell him. Because as soon as she does, like, the plan is ruined.
Yeah.
So I think there's, like, at least an in-movie reason for her not telling. Yeah. Now, like, you can say, like, she's just a bitch, and, like, I don't know, she wants to talk down to the man. She's a big lady in charge with purple hair. She wants to put the man in his place. Well, this is, so I think, like, the hair is, for some people, a dog whistle for, like, feminism. Mm-hmm. So they see her as, like, this representative of feminism in the movie, and they don't like it, and that's why they don't like her. And I hope this isn't too political, I guess, but like there's some people that think that the movie's got a social justice agenda, and ever since I heard that comment, I watched the movie trying to find it, and I cannot. There's not a single line of dialogue in the movie that even suggests that there's like such an agenda. So I don't know where they're coming up with this stuff.
Yeah,
but
and I mean, my knee jerk defense to the you need to tell people things was if Poe's this kind of person, this reckless guy, but I mean only Leia knew that, and she was out of commission.
Yeah, I mean, she knew. I think everybody knew, probably. Like, they all felt the loss of his... he lost a bunch of people
Yeah.
in his offensive against the Dreadnought. So, I think people know that he was responsible and got demoted for it. I mean, I think that's... Yeah. She doesn't know him personally. I mean, I bet if she knew him... If Holdo knew him personally... And maybe that's why Akbar was, like, not the best choice for this character. Like, he would probably tell Poe, because, like, he knows that he's, like, a trustworthy dude. But Holdo doesn't know everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I still think Akbar would have been the better choice. Use Akbar for your symbol of social justice.
Feminist Akbar. What if we found out that Akbar is actually a woman in his species?
Could be. They're all fish people. You don't. Who knows?
These goddamn women and their social justice agendas.
Oh man. Okay, I'm trying to think if there was any other things to touch on. I mean,
let's do real quick. What did you feel about Luke drinking that monster's titty milk?
Oh, we're getting down to the important subjects.
Right. This is a common one. This is something people really hate.
Why?
I don't know. It's just like a stupid Star Wars
benign.
thing.
It's nothing. It's just they just touched on, you know, there's blue milk in the old ones that comes from banthas. Let's do something goofy with with green milk, and we're going to show where it comes from. Some weird animal he squeezes the tits of. Who cares?
Oh man.
I've got more issues with how he got that goddamn fish up from that 8-story pole than I do him drinking the titty milk of that fucking walrus on the side of the beach.
It would definitely be hard to control the point of that spear. But he's a Jedi, dog.
Yeah. I don't gotta explain nothing. He'll drink that titty milk straight from the source.
But Jedi, bitch, I drink Monster's titty milk. I don't care.
That's where the Force is.
Get that Force all down in you.
I even like after he does it, he like gives that smile. He's got that green milk all over his teeth.
Yeah. He's loving how grossed out she is. It's like, yeah, I drink this all day.
And then that one looks at her like, what, you want up on this too?
It's like, I got 3 more.
You're doing that thing a favor.
Oh
it's like a cow. They're in pain if you don't do it often enough.
Yeah, you gotta milk them.
Any more important parts to touch on?
The scene where where Rey is practicing her lightsaber skills on the mountain looks silly to me. It looks like she's just kind of flailing around. Like, I don't think they had a plan for the moves that she would do. They're just like, go.
Just swing. And go. Just swing it, yeah. I mean, guess I can see that.
Yeah. I mean, again, we're nitpicking. What's the other thing? Something else that I saw a lot of people complaining about. Oh, we haven't even gotten to the very end where a lot of the big complaints come from. But the concept of the ships needing fuel. It's like people are mad about that.
Well, of course they need fuel.
What's it going to run on, man? I mean, I know it's like a fantasy space thing, but like, why is it why is it hard for you to accept that they use fuel?
I'm pretty sure fuel's always been part of the lore. I don't understand that one.
I don't either. It's a non-issue.
I mean, they got big freaking engines blasting fire out the back, where that comes from somewhere.
Yeah. The Force. It's the Force. They fly on the Force.
They fly on walrus titty milk.
Maybe we should what's some of the controversial stuff? So, Holdo's Gambit, the speed flying into the other fleet. People actually think that this changes like all of space combat in Star Wars forever.
No, Han Solo establishes in the first freaking movie that if you're not careful when you plot your hyperspace jump, you can go through something.
Yeah. I don't understand why it's a controversial topic. They think that like it was why haven't anybody done this before? It's very effective attack.
Because nobody wants to suicide kill themselves.
Kamikaze shit. That's why. And also, this is like literally the last ship that they've even got. You know, like this is the very last gasp. This is all they've got left to do. So they do it. It's not just like, man, there's a lot of ships. Let me just hyper drive my way through all of them.
See, now you got me going through it like, you know, the Death Star is about to pop Yavin. Why wouldn't one X-Wing just decide to jump through the Death Star?
But would that have done enough damage to even... I mean, a single X-Wing I don't think would have done enough damage.
It would have been a whole freighter.
Right.
With one person on it. To do
but they also... I mean, I guess that would be easier, but they also had, you know, a plan. They're like, they know what they need to do. They got to get in there and shoot that Death Star.
Get in there and shoot that hole.
shoot them guts.
I mean, I can go either way. I mean, and I know this is another big complaint on it was that, you know, they were out of range of the gun, so we got to wait for them to run out of fuel. Again, can't you just hyperspace jump a mile ahead? Can't you jump past them?
Oh, you're talking... Okay. I guess.
Why do you have to be right behind them? This is one of the big complaints that I agree with on it. I didn't... And this just goes back to why are we trying to make sense of something that's complete goddamn fantasy.
Right.
But it's like, if you can warp to any point anywhere and all you need is a clear line of sight, why can't you just do that?
Yeah, I guess I don't have a real good answer for that.
That's the one that I've heard many times that I get that one. Like, why couldn't they just warp, you know, right on the ass of the ship? If they know where they are, which is why they have that, they can track them through hyperspace.
Right.
Unless there's some kind of limit to that, to where they're tracking them, but they're going to come out a certain distance behind them, no matter what. I don't know. Again, make believe.
Yeah. It'd probably be pretty tough to jump a short distance.
Mm-hmm.
I would think. I mean, going faster than the speed of light. They got I don't know. Crazy space shit.
This is the same thing of asking how does a lightsaber know when to stop?
Yeah. I don't know. Just does.
You're fine with the fact that a lightsaber exists, but you're not cool with this. So yeah, I redact my statements.
I mean, you know, it's a valid question.
Yeah,
it's a valid question. I mean, if I had to try to rationalize it somehow, I would say probably that Hux is confident, and in his hubris, he's just kind of toying with them. He thinks it's over.
Yeah,
for them, you know, He's like, they're not getting away. They got no fuel.
They got no fuel. They ain't got no job. They ain't got shit to do. I'm telling you, we need to rewrite Star Wars. It's going to be all just shut-ups and references to other movies.
Oh, man. Okay. What are the last few events that we can talk about?
They're on the white dusty planet with the red underneath the dust.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is a thing that I saw Red Letter Media critique, and I agree with them. Finn is going to sacrifice himself to like blow up this door laser.
Again, we're rewriting Star Wars. Gonna blow that door laser.
Shit, Leia, they got a door laser. And then, for some reason, Rose decides the best way to stop him from doing that is to crash her vehicle into him. Which could also have killed him.
Yep.
So that just seems like a weird choice to me. I guess if you're being generous,
yeah,
you could say that there's at least a % chance that he would survive what she's doing as opposed to what he's trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It's a weird choice.
But what she just did, which may or may not have killed both of them, also pretty much definitely killed everybody else.
Right. Yeah. Now he can't stop the door laser.
That'd be like, but that young budget Keanu Reeves hijacking a plane and knocking what's his name out of the biplane in Independence Day. He just Iron Eagle steals an F-16 and just rams his dad's crop duster to stop him from
beating the aliens.
They wiped out the rest of humanity, but maybe me and my dad will survive the fall.
Oh, man. Yeah, so Crate's cool. I guess, like, visually it's just really cool. I don't really know what the purpose of there being salt and stuff is. Why it's, like, red under there. Just, like, looks cool.
Just visually, yeah.
It's just visually cool. And it's like you can use it to do that subtle little touch where Luke's projection doesn't leave footprints. That's cool.
And I like what Luke did here. I like that he never got his ass off of that planet.
Yep. And they even said because this is the thing, like, that people are just not giving Johnson the credit for, is like there's so many little details in everything. Like back on what's it place? Octo, is that the name of the planet that Luke was on? Anyway, she sees his X-wing at the bottom of the ocean. So, like, that's a possibility that he raised it up and flew there.
Yeah.
I love the subtle little hints that he's closed himself off from the Force, where, like, he asks where Han is when they show up in the Falcon, and he's not there.
Yeah, he didn't feel Han die like Leia did. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great stuff.
Yeah.
I love the way, and it's so simple too, but the way he did Rey and Kylo's, Force connection convos.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a cutting back and forth between the two places, but like I brought up the Kuleshov effect before, but this is it like working, where they're in two totally separate places, but if you juxtapose them in editing, the conversation works.
Yeah. They're there in the same room with each other.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
There's a little detail I noticed too where there's one where Rey is like standing underneath the Falcon and it's raining. So there's like this little trickle of rain coming off the Falcon by her. Mm-hmm. And then in where Kylo's at, he's standing in front of a window and there's like sparks raining down. And it's like it's like a similar like visual thing. Real cool. Real cool.
I didn't notice that one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people had an issue with the fact that Luke just kicked the bucket after he did his little force projection. The strain of it killed him.
Yeah.
What else is there to know? They established that too.
And that's another, like, the first time they see each other through their projections. I love that Kylo doesn't know, he sees her, doesn't understand how she's doing it, because she thinks she's projecting herself.
Yeah.
Which obviously isn't what's happening, but
yeah.
And it's like a perfect setup for force projecting being number one a thing, and number two a difficult
really hard to
thing.
do. Yeah. And especially the distance that he did it, and to the realism, the effect that he had with it,
mm-hmm.
to make him actually think he was actually there, even though he gave him plenty of visual cues to realize that it wasn't him. He had the wrong lightsaber.
Yep, but it was Anakin's, the one that he like wants really bad. So like, everything he did, the way he made
intentionally to trigger him,
intentionally, because the last time he saw him, that's how he looked, and that would be like, reliving that moment. Yeah.
He didn't shave himself up to go to do this final fight. He wouldn't care.
Right.
Enough to do that. That was intentional for a different reason.
So what do you think about... so one thing another thing I liked is the way they had different stories about what happened between them, Kylo and Luke. I like that a lot.
Yeah, they did that really well, showing both sides and then showing the truth, which is a little bit of both. Now, if you talk to Blake about this, you'll get a whole different story.
Oh, geez.
Because, as much as Blake loves Star Wars, there's no talking to that guy sometimes. Because it's all Sith this and Sith that, and the Empire did nothing wrong.
Oh my God. How can he be a libertarian and be on this fucking Empire's side? It makes no sense.
He's just, I don't know.
Well, he's not here to defend himself.
No, he's not.
That makes no sense.
But his whole thing is, it was just, Luke Skywalker's an evil, evil man for trying to murder an innocent kid because he was scared.
He didn't try to murder him. Yeah, this is another thing. Like, Luke explains what happened, and it makes complete sense. And it makes sense with Luke's character, like who he is. And he says he was ashamed. And, there's nothing wrong with this. I don't understand why people are mad.
And Kyle had already been... he said it. Kyle, he looked into him and he saw that his heart's already been turned by Snoke.
Yeah.
It was gonna happen no matter what. Luke firing up his lightsaber didn't alter the course of that at all.
No.
It might have sped it up a little bit, but he was gonna turn no matter what.
And I don't know, his dialogue sort of suggested that he saw something of the future. He said that he would take everything from him, everything that mattered to him, So, like, he may have foreseen Han's death.
Yeah.
Which is another, like, you see this dude kill your best friend, if you don't stop him. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it all makes sense.
I mean, it's not even just that. It's patricide.
Yeah.
It's not just him killing when he's killing his own father. Yep. That's way deeper.
So yeah, Luke's whole deal is good and fine, and I'm on board. What else do we got? Any other questions?
And like Yoda popping up at the end there and being all like, "You still don't know anything, do you?"
Oh, dude, I loved seeing Yoda so much.
And they did him Like they went and found the mold for the first puppet
Yeah.
and not that abomination that was in Phantom Menace.
Horrible.
So
They got the real ass Yoda.
yeah, I was very
so
happy to
great.
see Yoda.
It was so great.
And
he was
like
he
cantankerous old coot Yoda.
Yeah, he wasn't boring fucking Yoda, like Jedi Council Yoda. He was like real Yoda.
Yeah. Digging around, finding flashlights Yoda.
Yeah, that warmed my heart. Seeing Yoda again was awesome. I'm trying to think. I know there was one other. Maybe this isn't a common complaint, but the kids at the end, like having force powers or whatever.
Yeah.
And them and like Luke becoming a legend again.
Yeah.
I think I got into an internet fight with a guy about this, because he was like, "How'd they find out about what happened?" And I was like, "Man, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Like they did.
Shut up.
Shut up." Like you don't need to see like a game of telephone happening where some rebel calls somebody and somebody calls somebody, and then the kid overhears somebody on the phone with somebody being like, "Luke Skywalker did what?" Like, it doesn't matter.
I said it once and I'll say it again. Fucking nerds.
Fucking nerds, man. Just
Can't be happy.
And I don't wanna sit here and say like you can't have legitimate, beefs with things, but honestly, I think a lot of the beefs with these movies are, they're made up. Like,
Yeah.
like the actual content of the movies does not agree with you.
Yeah. It's fine to not like it, but you don't to go out of your way to prove to everyone around you that it's bad and you should feel bad.
Yeah.
Is beyond me, and just how passionately hateful they are to this movie. I don't understand.
I don't get it. And it goes on to this day. Every single time, any thread about Star Wars, it doesn't matter if it's about Mandalorian. It doesn't matter. They're like fucking Rian Johnson messing up Star Wars forever. Like, bro.
Yeah. Mandalorian's pretty good. It's a way a lot better than fucking trash Last Jedi. It's like they can't not. They're like the vegans of nerddom. They have to say it.
They gotta bring up Last Jedi every time.
God.
Well,
there we go. This was longer than most Garbage Theater
holy
episodes.
shit. I think we'd only planned to do like an hour, maybe a half hour on each movie, but
like I said, this could be a train wreck. Who knows what this is going to turn out to be?
We told you. We warned you.
We warned you what you were getting into when you hit play on this thing. Next episode, we're doing Rogue One and Solo. So I think we're going to have more to say on that episode, at least for the Solo side.
I think it might be a more interesting episode. Like these movies, these two in particular have been...
Well, we were both on the same page here.
Yeah.
And, so...
People have gone over these just...
Yeah. And nobody talks about Solo.
Nobody talks about Solo like we're going to talk about Solo. I can't,
You don't know Solo.
I can't promise that. I don't know.
Yeah, I honestly have to rewatch it because I don't remember a goddamn scene from that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, on that note, we're going to put a pin in our Garbage Theater Shut Up, a Star Wars special. I'd like to thank everybody for listening. Drop us a review on iTunes if you'd like. We'd like that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. We will recommence with Shark Month once Blake rejoins us in a few weeks. We'll pick up where we left off. Jesus Christ, I do not want to watch Sharkman again.
Oh,
we're just gonna have to go off of the notes and just hope we remember it.
Yeah.
So that'll be an interesting episode. You can drop us a line. You can find us online at Garbage Theater fuck. I have been screwing this goddamn outro up constantly lately. Can I just say we're on Facebook and on Instagram, and it's Garbage Theater, and it's pretty easy to find.
Just type Garbage Theater and shut up.
The one part of our show that's scripted, and I can't get it right. We're on Facebook and Instagram. Garbage Theater, with the R before the E, because we're fancy like that.
Yeah, it's fancy. It's a fancy show.
It's fancy. I know that that's supposed to be stage production. I don't give a shit. Fancy.
Shut up.
So, and if you can email us directly. We can do that too. It's garbagetheaterpodcast@gmail.com. You can talk to us. You can send us a movie pick, whatever you want to do. Shut up.
Talk to us and shut up.
On that note, we will see you next time for part 2 when we discuss Road One and Solo. We'll see you then, folks.